What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for coming back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Jurassic Park. Now, I really just only sat down to do this video because I just got a new car holder that the phone is holding onto. It's on my windshield. I've been wanting to get one of these for something a little bit more stable as I'm driving. Also give you guys a better angle without my steering wheel always being in the way and all that kind of thing. So, yeah, I actually wasn't going to film a video until I got in the car and actually saw what it looked like, and I figured, why not? You know, I like this angle. I may change it up. Let me see. You know, I like this angle. I may change it up from time to time and you know, kind of get different shots of the car or stuff like that, depending on how I like the video as I'm actually driving and doing it. But I actually like how this sits a little bit now. It's a little bit closer. Like I said, you don't have the steering wheel in the way, and it's raining. I'm literally just in my driveway. Came out to put this thing in my car, and yeah, I'm really liking how it looks. I like the setup a lot better. I think it'll make for better reviews and less shaky or loud reviews. I guess we'll see how that actually pans out as I get further into this. But yeah, let's talk about Jurassic Park. So the only reason I'm doing a review for Jurassic Park today is because I recently just rewatched it, and I thought, why not? You know, it's fresh in my mind. It's a movie that I know so well and didn't even need a rewatch for, but my girlfriend and I are rewatching it right now, and the whole franchise as a whole, she had never seen the second or third one, so we decided, let's start the franchise over. This one's now fresh in my mind, so why not review it? So Jurassic Park, this movie has to be probably one of my favorite movies of all time. I've seen it probably more than most movies I've seen outside of the Star Wars films and, you know, various other comic book films. But Jurassic Park has easily always been one of my favorite things of all time, the franchise as a whole. I love it for its flaws. I love it for its amazing parts, for its action, for its characters. I love it for its silliness. It's just a world and a set of films that I've always just been so directly attached to. Growing up as a kid, before I would go through the various changes that we all go through as far as what we want to do with our lives and, you know, all that kind of stuff, which I'm still figuring out, yeah, I wanted to be a paleontologist. Jurassic Park was my favorite set of films. I watched them all the time, and I always wanted to be like Dr. Alan Grant, and I just wanted to be a paleontologist. I wanted to go out there and study dinosaur bones and dinosaurs in general. And it was always something that I really loved. This film inspired me to want to do that. I used to, as a kid, learn all the different names of dinosaurs. I had books and comic books and all these kind of little things, that, you know, like informational books and all that kind of stuff. Educational books is what I meant. And just to teach me about all these different dinosaurs. You know, as a kid, I couldn't just rattle off the names of dinosaurs if you showed me a picture. I would definitely have to study up on a lot of that today. But yeah, as a kid, I was just really quick with all that kind of stuff, and I could literally look at a picture of a dinosaur and know exactly what it was. And a lot of that is still followed into today, where I, you know, kind of just know the names of a lot of dinosaurs outside of, you know, your popular, like, you know, T-Rex or, you know, Velociraptor, stuff like that. Like, I, you know, was able to really just dig deep into a lot of educational books about dinosaurs. And Jurassic Park paved the way for that for me. I really always loved this film. I can't even tell you how many times I've watched it. So going back and rewatching it, I can go right out of the gate and just give you my negatives, because there's not very many. I think there's a few elements that feel a little dated, and not necessarily as far as the look of the film, but just like some of the technology in the film. But again, it kind of makes sense with where the franchise has gone, and the fact that it was made in this specific time frame. You know, it was made in the 90s, so it makes sense. But yeah, just a few elements that were a little bit dated, or maybe even look a little bit dated here and there. But for the most part, I think that's just a minimal complaint. Again, I can watch it with the lens that it was made in the 90s, so this movie takes place in the 90s, you know what I mean? And so it's one of those things where I don't need it to look so high-end, I guess you can say, or like high-quality technology and all this kind of stuff within the movie, because everything else in the film looks beautiful. And that's just going to lead me into all the positives I have of this film. The number one thing I can say about this movie that I absolutely love is the practical effects. I mean, Steven Spielberg is a master, just a mastermind behind the camera, and he always takes the visuals of his movies very seriously. You know, he's had some movies that are, you know, not as good as others, but this movie is the pinnacle for me of him using practical effects. The dinosaurs in this film, the majority of them that are on screen are practical. You can see it. You can see that there was artistry put into creating these animatronics and putting them on screen. You can see how much love and effort went into making these things look real and feel scary, terrifying. When I was watching it with my girlfriend, I told her I feel like this movie would be so easy to act in compared to others when you have these huge animatronics coming towards you. I mean, to act terrified, I don't think would be very, very difficult, because these actors were given probably the greatest playground to act with as far as the animatronics they had to deal with that were all up in their face and really do look incredible. The animatronics in this movie just look so beautiful, and you know, when you look at them, they look so real, so vivid, and it's one of those things that you really realize, wow, how much art and how much talent went into making these films, how much talent and love and passion went into making sure that these creatures looked creepy, real, and to this day, they look better than a lot of special effects that we have in films these days. And that's including the latest Jurassic Park films. You know, they haven't really utilized too much practical effects. They've had some moments where it looks great. It's like, wow, look, here's the practical effects. But Jurassic Park has always stood out to me for having practical effects. You know, they do use CGI from time to time, but even this, the Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 have plenty of moments with practical effects that just stand out. They look fantastic, and you can just feel that it's there on screen. You can see that it's there on screen. I just never stop being blown away at how beautiful the animatronics in this film look and how awesome they still look on camera till this day. Now let's jump into the characters, because I love them all. There's a few annoying characters throughout the films. You know, there's some kids in the film that are kind of there to play at an annoying level at certain points, you know what I mean? When the film is really about Sam Neill's Dr. Grant and Laura Dern's Ellie. And the two of them are just awesome characters. I love the awe and just amazement that they have as soon as they get to Jurassic Park and see these dinosaurs. You feel it through them, their excitement, you know, and we're with where we are in films today and the kind of things we've had put on screen as far as dinosaurs, monsters, all these various kinds of creatures. It's one of those things for me where you can look at some of the scenes and think, oh, that's just, you know, a big CG dinosaur that doesn't look as good as movies we have today. But you know, sure, you could nitpick it that way, but it's all really about the performances in this film. Sam Neill and Laura Dern give such realistic and just compelling performances as far as like these two paleontologists that would be so excited to see dinosaurs in real life, and when they finally get to, just the joy and awe and wonder in their face really sells everything. The first time that they see, you know, the dinosaurs, it just really, it never stops captivating me. It's always such a beautiful scene. As far as all the other characters, you have Ian Malcolm, played by Jeff Goldblum, who's probably easily the other standout character. He's also the lead character in Jurassic Park: The Lost World, which is the sequel. And yeah, he's just a great comedic relief, as well as somebody who adds a very good sense of realism to the situation. You know, he's a chaos theorist and a few other things, and he just really adds a level of groundedness to all of this while also bringing humor into the mix. And I always really enjoy his character in this film. There's some really funny moments with him, as well as some moments that you really think, that guy is talking some real shit, guys. You really need to listen to this guy. Outside of that, all the other characters are really great. I really enjoy them. I don't really want to give any spoilers. I'm really surprised if you have not seen Jurassic Park at this point, but you know what? I have talked to a lot of people now that I've been getting a little older. I'm only 25, but when I talk to people sometimes, especially people that I work with that are a little bit younger, stuff like that, it kind of blows my mind sometimes to see how many people have not seen films like Jurassic Park, you know? Like, I think there was a time where, you know, and I'm kind of like grateful to have grown up when I did, because I feel like I was growing up right at the cusp of when technology was really becoming, like, you know, cell phones and stuff, everybody's hands, all this kind of stuff. And I really got to just sit down and enjoy a lot of these older films, including, you know, a lot of classic films from like the 20s and 30s and stuff like that. And nowadays you talk to most people, and unless they're really into film, they don't know about any of these movies. And not that people don't know what Jurassic Park is, but a lot of them have seen Jurassic World, or maybe they saw bits and pieces of Jurassic Park as a kid, but they haven't seen it in over a decade, and they have no idea really what happens outside of that there's dinosaurs and people get eaten. And you know, it's kind of sad, because this movie is incredibly well acted, is incredibly well written. There's a sense of awe, wonder, and terror that Steven Spielberg is able to balance across the entire film, as well as not only that, but a respect for life. You know, there's this huge narrative across the film about having respect for the things that we don't understand, and that cloning dinosaurs can be a bad idea in the sense that we can't tame these creatures. You can't tame life a lot of times. You can't try to control things, and it's a big issue, you know, throughout history of humans trying to control things that they can't control. And I really enjoy that narrative in this film because it plays out, and it also has a lot of really strong moments that respects the animals themselves, the creatures. It respects the creatures and the animals, and really just kind of shows you what they would do if they were really on this earth trying to be tamed and controlled by humans. So I've always really enjoyed that narrative. And like I mentioned, all the characters in this film are really solid. I really enjoy them. You know, there's some annoying characters here and there that make some stupid decisions, but because of the kind of character that they're set up to be, it's never one of those films like that you feel like there's like the logic is just out the window, you know what I mean? A perfect example for me, when I'm actually going to do a review for Jurassic Park The Lost World as well, but in Jurassic Park The Lost World, one of my least favorite elements about that film is that so many characters just seem to have a lapse in logic. You know, there's so many decisions made by characters that are supposed to be intelligent, that are supposed to be scientists, are supposed to be people that studied and were prepared for this kind of thing, that are making incredibly poor decisions. And you know what I love about the first Jurassic Park is that all the characters that are scientists or that are intelligent characters, that are set up to be intelligent characters, tend to make decisions that fall within their intelligence. And the characters that don't make intelligent decisions or make, you know, completely just wackadoo decisions are typically characters set up to be a little bit rash or a little bit easy to be afraid, or, you know, stuff like that, where it makes sense that their character would make those decisions and put all the other characters in these tough situations because of the kind of character that they are. And so I've always really loved how Steven Spielberg was able to balance that in this film, and, you know, give you great characters while also giving you characters that can be annoying while also being great because of the way that they're written, if that makes any sense. And I really don't have very many negatives to give about this movie. Even some of the CGI. I mean, there was moments with CG in this film where I looked at my girlfriend and I said, man, it just blows my mind that some of the CG in this film, from a film that came out in 1993, still looks better than a lot of the CG of films we get today. It just is a fantastic film from beginning to end. It's incredibly well acted. You know, I would say outside of the things I gave as far as negatives already, the only other negatives I'd give is maybe there's a few elements that feel rushed, like you know, just a few elements that kind of get skipped over, or some characters that are able to do a few things that you kind of feel like maybe they wouldn't have been able to get away with that. But you know, it's minimal. It's minimal because the movie is paced and set up in such a way, both in just the screenplay and the overall just script itself, that it doesn't feel like that gets completely lost itself. It doesn't feel like a kind of movie that doesn't make any sense. It's hard to even like word it. I mean, as you can see, there's probably a lot of moments of me in this review just kind of like trying to catch my words, because this movie is just incredibly well done. It looks beautiful. It is well acted. The animatronics and all of the action still holds up. The tension in the film, the music. I mean, you got a score from John Williams, easily one of the greatest composers of all time, my favorite composer of all time. Outside of just doing Star Wars, you know, he's famous for Indiana Jones. He's famous for the Jurassic Park franchise, Jaws, E.T. You know, he started the Harry Potter franchise as far as a lot of the iconic music that we know. And it just goes to show how much his music can really just make a film so much more incredible. Yeah, it really does. It just blows my mind every time I hear the music in any of his films that he's a part of, because he's able to bring a sense of wonder and awe and just pure adventure to every film that he scores. So yeah, guys, I'm going to end my review right here because I really don't have anything else to say. If you haven't seen Jurassic Park already, I didn't really give you any spoilers in this other than just talking about the things I love about this film. Like I said, incredibly well acted, beautiful CG still to this day. You know, there's some dated elements at certain parts, but it still looks so good for the movie that came out in 1993 compared to where we are in technology today and some of the movies we're getting today. It blows my mind how great this film still looks as far as its CG. The animatronics still hold up, and I can see them holding up for a long, long time. I don't see those animatronics ever looking dated on screen. The way that Steven Spielberg chose to direct this film from beginning to end, the shot compositions, all that kind of stuff, it is a just outstanding film. It is just a beautiful looking film, incredibly well acted, and it makes sense why this is one of the most beloved films of all time and why it has spawned a franchise that is so beloved that in a lot of people's eyes the sequels don't even come close to. And I can agree in a lot of ways. A lot of the sequels will never be able to capture the awe and wonder of this specific. It's just perfection in a bottle, lightning in a bottle, you know. But I do enjoy all of the other Jurassic Park sequels on different levels, you know. But this is just the pinnacle, I think, 110%. I will be doing reviews for the other ones. I highly recommend watching Jurassic Park if you've never seen it before. I will be very shocked if you've never seen Jurassic Park before. But, you know, like I mentioned, I'm really learning that a lot of people haven't. I'm really learning that a lot of people have missed out on the opportunity to see these films and just don't go back. There's so many people too that in this day and age that watch movies one time, sometime in their life, and they don't rewatch them. And what's like what I always tell people, these films were not made for millions of dollars to be watched one time. They weren't. I mean, for a lot of people, they will do that, but these films in general were not made for millions of dollars to be watched one time. You will never be able to fully take in the wonder and beauty of a film with only watching it one time, and I will stand by that 110% till the day I die. So yeah, guys, I highly recommend watching Jurassic Park if you haven't. This is my review of Jurassic Park. Leave your comments down below. Did Jurassic Park mean as much to you growing up as it meant to me? When was the first time you saw it? Tell me anything about Jurassic Park. I love Jurassic Park so much, and I definitely want to have a discussion down in the comments down below. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, and make sure you hit the little bell icon so you can see when I post more videos. Also, guys, one of the biggest things I can ask you guys, just person to person, if you know anybody else that is really into films and you feel like the way that I talk about films is kind of in line with the way that they see films, or you know, all that kind of stuff. I'm a small YouTuber right now. I respond to pretty much every single comment. There is a discussion happening between all of us. If you know anybody else who's into that kind of content, please suggest them to my channel. Share, just go ahead and take the link, share it to a friend via text. Hey, check this guy out, check that guy out, whatever you got to do. I would really appreciate it. I want this channel to grow, and I also want to be able to grow the discussion. Also, be free to, like, you know, start discussions with each other down in the comment sections. I know a lot of you who do comment are really into you know, having discussions and will go back and forth with me on paragraphs. I love that stuff. You know, I really do love that stuff, and that's probably the main reason I started this channel. You know, a lot of people have different agendas starting the channel, but for me, it's really not about becoming huge, though that would be amazing. It's really just about being able to start discussions about films and have conversations and be able to get all my thoughts out on a film for the most part. With you know, without having to sit there and type back and forth 100 times, you know what I mean? And now we can have a full discussion down in the comments below based on my thoughts that I gave in this video. So yeah, guys, let me know down below what you thought of Jurassic Park. I know I'm just rambling at this point. I love this film. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!